So who am I going to pick as my power surfer? I can tell you it's definitely going to be someone from the Brazilian Storm. Stick around and find out who it is. Hey everyone, I'm Old Surf Dad, and in this Rio Pro Preview, we're going to check out the surf forecast for Saquarema, then take a look at some key stats in the Old Surf database. And finally, I'm going to make my men's and women's fantasy picks and hope that the WSL's broken system lets me make reselects. But first, let's check in with our Fantasy Surf League. My apologies for the dramatic video effects, but I wanted to give you a warning that I will be closing the league to new teams after the J-Bay event to keep the trophy award fair to those regulars in the league. To join now, go to oldsurfdad.com for all the details. And make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel to be eligible. All right, for the El Salvador Pro, let's congratulate Gatorade Mipora for the Surf City win. He's joined our list of event champions in the Hall of Fame at oldsurfdad.com. Jess Scoops was runner-up at number 2. Dave Bob comes in at number 3. Twin Fiend in the 4th position. And Gradeska rounds out the top 5. Congratulations, everyone. Now let's look at the overall standings following the Surf City event. Just the Tip holds on to the number 1 spot in our leaderboard and is ranked 8th in the world. Keps jumps up a couple of notches to runner-up. Madeirance stays strong at number 3. Richard Hebon moves up 1 slot to the 4th position. And finally, Sumalinen is in the top 5 in the 5th spot. Okay, moving on to the Rio Pro Surf forecast for Saquarema. Let's get into it. Saquarema is located in the Brazilian state of Rio de Janeiro and will pick up anything from the south or east but capitalize on the low-pressure systems that come from under South America during this time of year. There's 2 waves in Saquarema where the WCT surfers will compete, Itaúna and Barrinha. Itaúna on the north end of the beach is a shifty beach break when it's small and can turn into a left point when it has more size. I've surfed here and it's definitely a fun wave. Is it world class? Not when I was there, but let's talk about Barrinha on the other end of the beach next to Saquarema's landmark church. The Rio Pro in 2018 is a great example of the potential of this right-hand tube. It's a fast, jetty-formed, sand-bottom barrel with the occasional air section or open lip bash opportunity. It can be a good wave and what the CT surfers would hope to score. So what are the waves going to be like? Finally, some good news for an event. There are several storms forecasted to make their way into the swell window for the entire 8-day waiting period. The first 2 days should be good, so expect to see heats in the water from the start of the waiting period. Beyond that, into Sunday, the wind could be an issue, so we'll have to keep an eye on it, but there's plenty of swell forecasted. More potential good news is that the tides are moderate during the event window without any major swings. There's some great links in the description below, including a Mechanics of Saquarema from Surfline if you want to know more about the area and keep updated on the forecast. How about let's look at some stats to help us make our picks. The Rio Pro was formerly held in the punchy city beach breaks of Rio de Janeiro until they opted to move northeast about an hour-and-a-half drive to Saquarema in 2017. Since the move, it's been all Brazilian champions. Adriana de Souza won in 2017, and then Filipe won the last 2 events in 2018 and 2019. There's been some other standout performances here as well. Let's start with Yagadora, who entered as a wild card in 2017 and beat John Florence, Gabriel Medina, and Mick Fanning, making his way to the semis, where he lost to eventual winner Adriana de Souza. The only other current WCT men's surfer that made the quarters in that 2017 event was Jordy Smith, who we'll come back to in a moment. Here's the quarters from 2018, and there are your current CT surfers, Kalo Andino, Gabriel Medina, and again, Yagadora. Filipe was the only surfer still on the 2022 tour to make it through, and he won in spectacular fashion, first with his air against Julian Wilson, and then this insane tube ride in the finals against Wade Carmichael, who, by the way, reminds me of Jacko Baker a little bit. In the 2019 men's quarters, Jordy Smith got a bye and eventually a finals appearance due to one of John's knee injuries in the round of 16. Other current CT surfers include Kanoa Igarashi and again, both Kaloe Andino and Gabriel Medina, but none of them could stop Filipe, who barreled and aired his way to another very impressive Rio Pro victory. On the women's side, it's been an Australian cyclone with Tyler, Steph, and most recently Sally Fitzgibbons. When I researched this, the women's finals were interesting. Sally was in the 2019 final with Carissa Moore, who was runner-up. Carissa hasn't won the event since 2011, when the Rio Pro was still at Rio's Barra de Tijuca. Is Carissa due, or is this just not her spot? We'll have to decide when we pick. The 2018 final may look familiar, right? An El Salvador repeat, and unfortunately for Lakey, the same outcome. In 2017, Tyler Wright defeated Joanne DeFay with a 17-point total and a 9.67 wave. Tyler would go on that year to win the World Championship. By the way, if you want to geek out and look deeper at any of the Rio Pro results, I have a video I'll link at the top that shows how to do it. It seems important to mention that in returning to Brazil, that gives the home court advantage to the Brazilian Storm. The Rio Pro results show they have capitalized. Since Gabby has come back, we've seen the growing power of the Brazilian Storm. You just can't be a Storm denier. You're looking at 3 of the 4 semifinalists at Surf City, and although they didn't get the result they wanted, it only makes them hungrier. Are they getting bad judging calls? It can certainly be argued, but I think everyone does over time. If Gabby lands that air in the semis, he wins. If Filipe protects priority in the finals, he wins. Is there a conspiracy against Brazilians? I don't think so. There's a lot of parity right now. Surfing style resonates differently with different people, and no one is going to be happy with the outcome when competition is so evenly matched, yet differently surfed. I gotta say as a fan, I love great surfing, and that's what the Brazilian Storm is creating. By the way, have you seen their cohesive pack and the support they are all giving each other even after they lose? There's nothing like it. Finally, let's not forget an important weapon for the Storm, the Brazilian fans. They are passionate about their surfing heroes, and their crowd numbers are always huge. Have I given you enough to think about? All right, let's make some picks. The last 2 events have shown that the WSL is not going to let us have a fantasy break or even play fair when it comes to reselects. It's really frustrating. I know many of you stay up late or set your alarm to wake up at 2 a.m. only to get locked out. I can relate. I feel your pain. So look, we all know it's coming, and the WSL is going to lock up reselects earlier than you think. I'd be prepared and have a backup team going as the elimination rounds play out. At some point, I'm going to be at work when this happens and not be able to make my picks, and my team will suffer more than it already has. I can't believe I'm talking about this. WSL, please up your game. Fantasy fans are your biggest fans. Pretty please, with sugar on top, fix this friggin' problem. All right. With a bit of surliness, I'm going to make my picks. Getting into Women's Tier A, and I won't waste time. I asked the question earlier in the video whether Carissa is due or if this just isn't her spot. I say every spot is her spot. Every spot she's favored. She's the best female surfer in the world right now and way overdue. I think she wins. She's my power surfer. All right, before I get into my Women's Tier B picks, I want to reintroduce this toggle switch, which shows results from the season when not activated. Then, when blue activated, shows career stats from this event. This is a great tool. Check out how much better Tyler, Lakey, and Courtney's results are here compared to the rest of the tour, and how Tati has struggled. Isabella has no results because she hasn't surfed a CT here. Here's the toggle off, and here's the toggle on. I'm surprised Tyler Wright is still out. She would be one of my picks, but instead, I'm going against the grain here and taking Tati, who will have the crowd behind her. And Courtney, I'm going to take solely on her stats. As much as I like Gabriella Bryan, I can't pass up Floridian Caroline Marks in a beach break with the solid performance she had in Surf City. Now, Sally's past stats are shockingly good, and she's getting close to landing that punch she's been working on. But I think Caroline is just too strong. In Men's Tier A, is anyone not taking Filipe? Is anyone not taking Filipe as their power surfer? Let's look at his performance here and toggle the switch. His heat winning percentage is a stunning 74% this season. And if we toggle the switch, his winning percentage is over 80% at Saquarema. That's more dominant than John at Margaret River. Enough said, he's my pick and my power surfer. Historically, Italo has not done well in Saquarema, but I see him building momentum, and I like how he kept his surfing below the lip when he needed to in El Salvador and reminded everyone he has one hell of a gouging turn. Plus, I know he has air game to match anyone on tour if he needs it. 2 men's picks down, 2 hometown Brazilians. I like it so far. In Tier B, we're going to pick Ethan Ewing because I can't get enough of those turns, and neither can the judges. Even though Jordy Smith went over the falls flailing, while Yagadora hucked that ridiculous Surf City air, I'm going to take Jordy with a bit of embarrassment only because his results have been so good here. You know what? I'm tired of taking Kolohe and being disappointed. I'm going to take the opposite of Kolohe. And who is the opposite of Kolohe? Well, that's Callum Robson. Done. Speaking of letting me down, I gave Sammy Pupo a start in El Salvador, and it didn't go well, but I'm giving him another chance. Let's go, Sammy. Tier C is stupid. There's more picks here than I know what to do with. I mean, you could build an entire men's fantasy team out of this group. So without further delay, I would like to complete my Brazilian Storm collector set. So I'll take Gabriel Medina, even though he hasn't had Gabby-like results here in Rio. Now, look at all those amazing picks left. Mateus Herde, João Chianca, even Jackson Baker, who nearly beat Jack Robinson in El Salvador, and in what the Swellians called the full-on jack-off. And what do we have here? Nat Young, the underrated battler. Dang. I'm having none of it and taking Yagadora. Call it past results, call it gut instinct, call it straight up crazy. That's my final pick. I need a nap. There they are, the best picks in the world. Well, for me anyway. What do you think? Who are your power surfers? And where did I get it right? And where did I get it wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Yep, old Surf Dad has survived again. And it's slim pickings these days. I'm going to wing it and take Yagadora and hope my $3,000 and quiver of panda boards are waiting for me at the end of the event. Come to Butthead. If you got something out of this video, don't forget to give it a like. It really helps the channel. And thanks to everyone who has subscribed. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, feel free to join us. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your fantasy team.